So I thought I'd do a little something different in this video. Welcome to another edition of As the Crow Flies Hiking. Simply, I wanted to have a discussion with people about how you lay your gear out and organize for a trip. So that's what I did on my last trip. I was organizing my gear and I thought I would just lay it out here. So I started with my backpack and then I put out my food. Then I put my electronics and DITTY bag, just have all my accessories. Laid out my clothing bag and my toiletry bag and first aid. So I'm simply just adding things that help me get organized. Then I get my water filtration stuff on the side. And by laying it out, I guess I'm a very visual person. It helps me understand what I need and gives me a big picture. So there's my quilt and then my tent. I use the ZPACKS DUPLEX this time. I keep a big box. That big black box there, or container, helps me organize because a lot of the things that I use every time are in that box. So I keep everything in there, just clothing and different stuff sacks that I typically use are in there, and different things that I don't want to go searching for. So that black container really helps me organize. It's just something I do to help me get everything together. That's my Z seat, and it goes on every trip because it's just so versatile. I use it for a lot of things like fanning the fire, sitting, use it for a wind block for my stove, and just very versatile. Then I have some clothing items in that box that I always take. And of course my trekking poles. I don't use trekking poles all the time, but I do use them for my duplex tent. Now I get my tent and I'm gonna organize it and fold it up in the stuff sack. Now I've got just about everything there together, ready to go. But now I'm starting to really organize to get ready to pack. So there's my shelter system, and I use a ground sheet with a duplex and my tent stakes. So that now has a specific place on the area to remember where it's going to go. Put my Puffy jacket in a container or stuff sack and get it ready to be packed. Now I'm getting all my clothing items organized and decide what I'm going to take and what I'm not going to take. It helps me kind of sift through and decide what I'm going to leave behind. Again, there's my first aid bag. That probably needs to go through and organize it better. And then my deuce of spades and Purell and toilet paper. My CNOC poles, I put them with the shelter system because I know I need it there. Now I'm just kind of organizing everything, getting my sleeping bag in my bag, getting everything all together. But I almost forgot my sleeping pad on this trip, so I went back and grabbed it. But going through it like this, it helps me to not forget as many things. I wonder with y'all, I wish you'd comment below and tell me, how do you organize your stuff? Do you already have it just everything together, ready to go, or do you have different packing system or systematic way of doing it? Now I'm packing all the big items in my backpack to get everything straight and get down to the stuff that really causes me problems with organization. I don't have any problems with the big things. I kind of know what I'm going to do. It's when it's the small things that I have to go through to decide what I'm going to use. So now the shelter system, my sleeping system is in, and now it comes down to the tougher items. For a while, it takes me a good amount of time to go through food, so I usually save that to last, in that I've really got to go through the food and figure out meals, how many meals I've got, how many breakfast, how many lunch, and how many dinner. and then start looking at it in the bag. So I use a HILLTOP's food bag, and I keep my cooking system in the food bag with the food because I'm usually going to go to it quickly and I want it all together. And so I'm right now just kind of sifting through the meals. I've started taking an op sack because if I really want to just keep the smell down, that is, a good bag for that. Now I'm organizing my cook set, make sure I got everything I need in there, and getting all my food all packaged up and ready to go. And once that's done, I feel like the trip can proceed because that's one of the hardest things other than my electronics bag. So this is the worst for me, getting all the items in my DITTY bag. I don't know what people call it. I call it electronics bag, but all the little things that I have to have, electronics for filming and different things like that. Deciding what to leave behind can be tedious for me because this is where some of the added weight comes in that I really don't need, and usually it's there where things need to be left behind. So I've got that ready to go. And that's another accomplishment I feel like for me. When I get that done, I feel, okay, now I've really in control of this. And then the next thing I do is look at clothing. I look at the clothing that I'm going to wear for the trip, and I put that off to the side because I'm not going to wear that, obviously. So now that's all ready to go. And then I'm looking at what extra clothes I'm going to take. In this particular trip, I didn't need many things, so I've got it all ready to go. And so this is the night before the trip. So I usually pack 2 times. I pull everything out of the pack and then put it back in. Appreciate y'all watching this episode of As a Crow Flies Hiking. I know it's a little different, but I would really love your comments. How do you pack? How do you organize your pack? How do you get it together? Any comments would be appreciated. I appreciate all your support and help with this. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you later on the next episode of As the Crow Flies Hiking. Take care.